I've been seeing these videos go around on Instagram, and I tried to film an Instagram reel, and I may try again, about the 5 books that I want to be buried with, but I just kept yapping on and on and on and could not fit it into 3 minutes. So I was like, this needs to be a dedicated YouTube video. These are the 5 books that I want to be buried with. I think they are dangerously underhyped. Like, what is happening here? Some of them, a few people have read, but I don't see them talked about a whole lot. One of them is a new release that just stuck with me so much so that I have bullied Rocco into listening to the audiobook. I'm gonna go ahead and get started though, so that this video isn't 18 years long. The first one shouldn't really surprise you guys, but it's Sawkill Girls. I have talked about this one over and over and over again, like throughout my YouTube career. This book has always stuck with me because I feel like it has so many good themes to it. It follows Marion, Zoe, and Val. They live on an island called Sawkill, Sawkill Rock, but essentially girls for decades have gone missing and no one's ever really taken the time to figure out what's going on. They're told that there's this monster that lives there that steals these girls. Obviously, we have a little bit more than that going on in the story, but this book, the reason why it is one of my favorites is because of the relationships between the characters. One of the characters, we call her like the Queen Bee. She'll do anything to kind of like betray people. There are themes of like feeling powerless. There are themes of like what it means to be a woman and like finding yourself. We have themes of like betrayal and what it means to like forgive. This just hits so hard for a YA kind of like fiction fantasy kind of novel. I was not expecting it when I read it. I read it and loved it. If you guys have not read it, you need to, please, for the love of God. The next book that I have here is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. I ate this book up. I randomly got sent this, found it, I can't remember, but I ended up picking it up and was like, holy shit, like what even is this book? This is the book that got Rocco into reading. This is the book that got him into reading audiobooks, to loving fantasy, just experiencing, you know, words in a different way. And I'm so thankful for it. This book will change your life. It's very campy. It's very funny. It's very like heartfelt. Like you will cry, you will gasp, you will wonder what's going on. That is this book. This is a fantasy book, follows our main character Clay, and essentially he's in what is called a band in this like world where they go out and hunt monsters. There's a little bit of like a music theme going on. Like, just picture if you've ever watched Supernatural, I imagine like that kind of music just like following them throughout the entire series. Absolutely loved it. The second one holds up. Cannot wait for the third one. Nicholas, there better be a third one. But essentially they decide to get the band back together once they are much older. There's like a Yoko Ono thing happening. Lead singer kind of leaves. They break up, but they get everything back together because Golden Gabe, the lead singer of the band, the leader of the band, his daughter has gone missing. She's basically gone to the front lines for this war and he wants to go and get her back. At the basis, very like simple, but we have so much representation in this as well. Like, we have a gay main character who is one of my favorites. His name is Moog. We have stories of love and loss and like family, and oh my god, it's just breathtaking. If you haven't read it, please, I beg of you. And then the next one is probably my most criminally underrated book that you guys have not read. I'm sure you have not read it because I've never heard anyone talk about reading it, and I'm real mad about it. You guys need to read this. This is Neanderthal Opens the Door to the Universe by Preston Norton. Everything Preston Norton writes is chef's kiss. I just read Where I End and You Begin by him, and it touched me in ways that books normally don't. Once again, very funny, very poignant, but when you look at its surface level, it follows our main character, Cliff, and then his soon-to-be friend Aaron, but essentially Cliff is like the big guy, right? Like, he's the big fat kid that no one wants to hang out with. His brother committed suicide. He lives in a trailer park, like just very like forgotten about. He's very funny. He's very self-deprecating. Absolutely love him. And then we have Aaron, who is the like star quarterback on the football team. This is a high school, I don't want to say, because it has like some like other themes in it, but I guess it would just be considered a contemporary. I would just consider this general fiction. But essentially they decide that they are going to be friends and they are going to fix everything that's wrong with their high school, whether that be bullying or you know, like drug use and all of these things, because Aaron has a boating accident, his hit on the head, and starts getting visions from God where him and Cliff are supposed to basically fix their high school and fix the lives of those around them. It just seems very campy, very, you know, humorous. But this book, like I said, we have a suicide like right off the bat in this book, so trigger warning for that. But this is so much more than that. It's about what it means to be a friend, about relationships, about the joy that you get in life, like who you are, where you want to go, like what's important to you. And oh my God, this is the only book I've ever read where it has made me laugh so hard that I was spitting things out of my nose. Like, it just absolutely freaking hilarious. I think Preston Norton writes beautiful, wonderful, like down to earth characters that you can really see yourself in, but then also have this, like, in a way, he's like mentoring you. He's like, let me tell you about like what life's really about. And that's what this book is. So please, for the love of God, somebody read it. I am begging you. The next book that I have here is Rhapsodic by Laura Thalassa. This is a very polarizing book for people. I think what happened with this series is, once everybody read ACOTAR and they're like, oh my God, I need another Shadow Daddy, like I need another, you know, like Bat Boy or something as close to that as I can get, people started stumbling upon this series. And so you either love or hate this. I am in the love camp. I think all three books are absolutely fantastic. This all follows our main character, Calypso, and she is a siren. This is a fantasy novel, but she meets someone called the Bargainer. And what the Bargainer is he's this like very like unknown kind of like shadowy figure, but essentially he works with like the dregs of humanity, and what he does is he will do you a favor, but you have to give a favor in return to him that he can call upon at any point in time. Well, Calypso, when she is much younger, ends up killing her, I can't remember if it's her father or stepfather, but she kills a man, and that man has a card for the Bargainer in there. So she calls upon him and is like, hey, like get rid of the body. You know, I didn't know who else to call. And he's like, okay, but you'll owe me a favor. Well, fast forward, you know, 10, 15 years, she is covered in them. She has like, you know, these bargains that she's made with him all down her arm that he can cash in at any point in time, and he does when she is much, much older. And this book is just so much more, I think, than people think it is. Like, I love all the side characters, I love the story itself, I love all of the main characters, the romance, everything. This just really scratched an itch for me that I was looking for, but it stands out. I think the reason why people didn't love it is because it's not ACOTAR. It's really not. It's like more brutal, it has more depth to it, I think, and I'm an ACOTAR girly, no one come for me, but I think this just has more like pain and heart to it than ACOTAR did for me, and I absolutely loved it. So bury me with that, and please let it be the pillow so that I can dream of the Bargainer himself, because oh my God. And then the last book I have is a new release, one that I picked up, I would say about a month ago, and I read it within that month because I just absolutely loved it. And that would be The Very Unexpected Starling House. I say unexpected with humor because everything that Alex writes becomes a fast favorite of mine. I knew that one of her books would be one of the books that I wanted to be buried with, but choosing between the ones that I've read, I was like, which one really would I want to be buried with? And it would be this one. And the reason for that, this is just a, like, I think when I did when I was talking about it before, I described it as jagged. It is. This book cuts you as you're reading it. This follows our main character, Opal, and our secondary character named Arthur. And essentially Opal is taking care of her younger brother in this very, very small, very, very shitty town. Like, I picture like somewhere in like Nevada, like just a very like, you know, down and out kind of town. Like, all the houses are boarded up and like the town is kind of in disarray and falling apart. Well, Arthur lives in the Starling House, which is kind of a house of legend where there is talks that the woman who owned it before them were, you know, she like killed some of the brothers who were trying to start like this big plant and kind of trying to take over the town. And so anybody who ends up like living in the Starling House are people that are lost. Like, that's how they end up there. And Arthur's parents lived there before, and his parents suddenly die, and he comes to move into the house. No one sees them, no one talks to them, you can't get into the house, nothing. So Opal one day is walking past the house and she touches the wrought iron fence and it cuts her. And Arthur comes to the door and is like, what are you doing here? Because she feels this draw to the house, you know, those lost kids. And so he agrees to allow her to work for him. And Opal only agrees to it because she is trying to get her brother out of the town, and she is saving money to send him away to this prestigious like private school. Very, very basic, like I said, like kind of storyline. But as you read this, like the more that is uncovered, and it's not a large book, the punch that Alex is able to get into this many pages, oh my God, you guys. Like, I wish there was a second one. I know there's not going to be because it's definitely like a story that is done, but this just hurt. Like, it hurt to read. Like, it hurt to read for the characters, like even for Arthur, and like feeling like he has to do what he's doing, and reading for Opal and how much she is struggling, and just it's just so beautiful and jagged and wonderful and dark, and please read it. It is just so much more than you thought it was. And you know, the fact that basically the storyline for it is that he is fighting against this house. And I won't say more because I think you do need to read it, but this is probably going to be my favorite book of the year, if we're being completely honest. There's something about Alex's writing that just sticks with the soul. Like, it sticks with my soul. Like, I can't get enough of it. It's so simple and eloquent and just well written, and I just, oh my god, please, 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 please read this, I beg of you. But those are the 5 books that I want to be buried with when I die. Let me know what your 5 are down below, but if you haven't read any of these, please let me know that you're going to read them, because once again, I am begging you. I need more people to talk to about these, especially Neanderthal Opens the Door to the Universe, Kings of the Wild, and Sterling House. I just think that these are wonderful, beautiful books that deserve more love. But thank you guys for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next video.